Great. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Now, please help me welcome Brett Matich, President, CEO, and Director of Max Resources Corp. Max Resources Corp is a copper-focused explorer operating in Colombia's CESAR Basin, targeting large-scale discoveries for the future of clean energy. Over to you.
And there's a pointer here somewhere. There we go. Hi. My name's Brett Matich. I'm CEO of Max Resource. We're listed on the TSX-V under the code MAX, M-A-X. Our capital structure is 180 million shares. We currently have about 3.5 million cash in the bank. Our major shareholders include Endeavour Silver, Franklin Templeton, Merck's Investments, and Eric Sprott. Collectively, they hold 20%, management around 10%. So our team, so the highlights of the team there, my experience in developing projects, in particular, there's 2 iron ore projects. One's called Koolan Island, it's currently with Mount Gibson. Extremely high grade, and that's one of the projects that we're looking at. High grade iron ore, the 2 largest producers are Australia and Brazil. We have Dr. Chris Granger, he's one of the co-founders of Continental Gold in Colombia, that relates to our Colombian project. And we have Enrique Sales, who's operation manager in Brazil. He's experienced in bringing high-grade hematite projects together in development. It's value for the pathway that we are doing with the iron ore project. So this is where we are. We're in South America. CESAR Copper is in the far northeast of Colombia. It's a huge sedimentary belt. It's been known for copper for quite a period of time, but it's only really been in a position to be able to explore it on a large scale up to about 8 years ago. Our claims cover a huge area. They cover over 1,300 square kilometres. The mineralization spans for over 120 kilometres, and we completed an earn-in agreement in May last year with Freeport. Freeport to spend $50 million to earn 80%. It was a pretty big move for Freeport. They've never been in Colombia before, and that sort of shows a bit of the credibility of the CESAR Copper-Silver Project. Our second one is in Brazil, and this is potential for, or we're looking at from a cash flow perspective for a junior company, and it's got significant margins if you compare it to the neighbouring operations. So CESAR Copper, like I said, it's in far northeast Colombia. It's a huge system. We had 3 goals in relation to this area. One was to establish a huge land position. So effectively, we cover the whole of the mineralization of the 120 kilometres, and what ground we have not got has not been released. And we're in a prolific oil and gas and coal mining belt. In fact, the largest open pit coal mine in South America borders us. So we're in an established mining area. So as I said previously, in May 2024, we signed an earn-in agreement with Freeport. It's just been, our first anniversary has just come through. The dedicated expenditure for 2025 is $4.8 million US, which is around 6.5 million Canadian. And we're entering an exciting time at the moment because we're coming up to the drilling stage, and the market have been waiting for that stage. So we're coming into quite an exciting 2025. So as we can see there, there's actually effectively 3 districts. The AM district, which we are looking at conducting drilling there, is it is a Mantos style of mineralization, which relates to northern Chile. That's our focus for the first lot of drilling. And then we go 30 kilometres or midsection of the 120 kilometres of strike. We have the Conejo district, very high grade. You can see there the work that we've done. We're averaging 4.9% copper over an area of some 3 odd kilometres. And then the Ura district, again, is high grade. We've had some our drilling that we previously did. We intersected 10 metres at 3.4% copper. So as I said, this is probably where Freeport have got really excited in relation to the Mantos-style discoveries. As a comparison, in northern Chile, you've got Mantos Blancos, 500 million tonnes at plus 1% copper. That's what we're sort of targeting, that style. And we're going through the drilling stage there at the moment. Again, so what we call, where the red line is what we call AM13, which is this discovery. It goes on for over 1.5 kilometres. We've got channel essays that have come through 40 to 50 metres wide, going at 1 to 2%. And we had a new discovery recently we call AM15, which seems to be, potential of a repetition there. And you can see both AM13 and AM15 on that map. This is, which we mentioned, Uru with the drilling side. We did this drilling back in 2023. And the plan is to follow up here. Like I said, we had, I think it was 10 metres at 3.4% copper, plus an ounce to the tonne silver. So our second project is in Brazil. So where we are in Brazil is a prolific iron ore region and also steel making region. So one of the big differences between Australia and Brazil, in Australia you have to export all the iron ore, which predominantly goes to China and Japan. In Brazil have a large steel industry. They produce 9% of the world's steel, and it's used domestically. So that is a huge advantage where you don't have to deliver the iron ore to a port and ship it overseas. And in Australia, if you haven't got rail access, the mid-tier miners, 50% of their costs is getting the iron ore to the ship. Whereas where we are, our iron ore buyers are within 20 kilometres by road. This map explains it all. So if we look at this map, we can see where we are, the Floral DSO project. You can see Vale up to the north. That's Vale's largest iron ore mine in Minas Gerais, which is the largest iron ore producing state. And these are old mines. So the high grade at surface, which is potentially oxide enrichment, has been mined. So what they need is they're buying iron ore from mid-tier producers from 1 million tonnes per annum to 4 million tonnes per annum. 1 million tonnes might not sound that much, but when you're looking at iron ore at $100 a tonne, 1 million tonnes, you're looking around the $100 million mark of saleable ore. And Where we are, you've got a company there, for example, called GSM. GSM deliver their ore to Vale, and they deliver it at a cost of $15 US a tonne, which is comparable to operations in Australia, is basically half the cost of what it costs to get the ore delivered to the ship. The mining costs are very similar, but the actual cost of delivery. And where we are, we've got existing roads, existing haul roads to Vale, one to Mitel and also one to an iron ore port, which to a rail link to an iron ore port. So we've got a number of choices there where basically we have the market at our doorstep rather than having to do all that haulage distance. And then, look, bulk commodities, whether it's iron ore or whether it's coal, it's all about logistics and distance of travelling the product to the buyer. Also, as well, in relation to the iron ore terminal, the railway link for the iron ore terminal goes to, which gives us an option of being able to ship the ore overseas. There's a well-known trading company, Trafigura. They own the iron ore port. The iron ore port is capable of doing 50 million tonnes a year. Last year they did 27 million tonnes. So we do have the added bonus of having the option to be able to ship the ore overseas, which predominantly would be along the east coast of the US. So this is a video which gives you a bit of an idea of where we are. This is the historic, so it's the historic mining pit. You'll see a number of roads have gone through. We just completed the first drilling program, which amounted to 5 diamond holes, 80 auger holes, and where we've drilled is we've basically been following the road network. We're finding that the high-grade iron ore is quite consistent, which is what we expected. In relation to ownership, the actual land side's owned by a corporation, so we don't have to go through native title and other various hurdles that you normally would go through. You'll see there that we're only interested in the oxide side, which is the high grade. It's the dedicated iron ore trains that go to the rail terminal, which is only 15 kilometres from us. So again, it's all about logistics. This is a mine that's 50 kilometres south, 1.5 million tonnes a year. That's just the basic plant they use, very simple. It's all dry processing. You don't need water. It's the big difference in relation to these high grade. This is the operation that's 17 kilometres west of us, who are delivering their ore over 3 million tonnes a year to Vale. This is another operation, same thing. We're not doing a lot different. We're the only public company to have a deposit like this. And again, we're going back to this map, which is all about the logistics and all about delivering the ore. So with the iron ore space, it's not as well known in Canada. We did a private funding on that particular project. We raised $3 million, which Max Resource now owns 75% of the iron ore project, and that's how we've completed all the exploration and drilling programs. We got results coming out over the next 3 weeks. As a comparison, our target is around 50 million tonnes. You can read these slides later. See, there's been takeovers in just 2025. There's been 3 takeovers there of junior companies ranging from 75 million through to 254 million. But the disadvantage they've got is, we look down the haulage side, is their distance that they got to take the ore to the shipping port, and they've been taken over by majors that actually got use of the railway line. and that's in Western Australia. So we've got a clear path to be able to have all operations in relation to being able to start digging ground in the first quarter of 2027. We've gone through those delineated drilling. We've completed. Environmental permitting is on the way. They're all being completed. Our next step is resource drilling, and resource. We've started the definitive feasibility study, and we started the development of mining approvals to be on track to be in a position to have all operations to target mine, or the authorisation we're getting is 1.5 million tonnes a year, which is quite substantial. Like I said, in relation to if you're looking at iron ore prices of around that $100 US a tonne. So this is a comparison. The top slide is a high-grade mining operation that is owned now by Mount Gibson Iron. I was managing director of a company called Aztec Resources. We started with an old open pit that was flooded. It's on an island. We developed it. We developed it over 3 years. We're taken over for $300 million. And if you look at the number there, and this is how much demand this high-grade iron ore is, you're looking at 24.9 million tonnes, and we're taken over for $300 million. Our target is very similar, and as a comparison, we have the historical pit here. It's smaller than what was at Koolan Island, and the common denominator between these two projects is Koolan Island, the ship comes direct to the deposit. Our common denominator is the buyers are within 20 kilometres, and that's really the huge advantage that we've got. So just to review, Colombia, we're coming now to the exciting times of coming into the drilling phase. We've got an approved budget for 2025 of roughly $6.5 million in Canadian dollars. And then from Brazil, we're now coming up to the stage now where we're going to be doing the resource drilling, complete the components of the feasibility study to then be in a position to be cash flow positive in 2027. And that's it, a very simple story and two very simple projects. So thank you.